Podcast, Episode 3. What moves your life is not willpower. Unconscious wiring and the beginning of choice. Hello, this is Dr. Yoshi. Thank you for coming back to Rewire Lab today. This is not a place to fix yourself. It's not a place to try harder. It's a space to gently let your nervous system rest and to think again. Recap of Episode 2. Let's begin by summarizing the previous episode in one sentence. Memory is wired not to facts, but to emotion. So sometimes, while we believe we're reacting to the present, we're actually responding to emotional traces from the past. That was Episode 2. Now, let's take one step further. If much of life is made of reactions, if more than 90% of our actions are replays of unconscious wiring, do we truly have no choice at all? Or does choice exist in a place very different from where we've been looking? Willpower is not the starting point. Many people believe life works like this: think, decide, act. But from a neuroscientific perspective, this order is almost reversed. The brain reacts first. It moves, it leans, and only afterward does it create a story that says, "This is what I decided." This was demonstrated in Libet's experiments. Several hundred milliseconds before consciousness felt, "I chose this," the brain had already begun preparing the action. Willpower is not the engine. It is closer to a narrator, editing meaning onto events that have already started. So, what actually separates lives? At this point, many people ask the same question. Then why do lives turn out so differently? Is it talent? Effort? Environment? Of course, those factors matter. But at the level of the nervous system, there is something much deeper and far more fundamental. It is this: how real you believe your reactions are. The same event occurs. One person reacts, "It's over." Another reacts, "This is information." This difference is not positive thinking. It is not personality. It is simply what emotions and meanings were wired together in the past. Nothing more. You are not weak. Here is something very important. If you find yourself stuck in the same worries, knowing what to do but unable to move, repeating choices you promised not to make, and you look at yourself and think, "There must be something wrong with me," that is not weakness. You simply didn't know the mechanism. The brain replays what once kept you safe, even if it no longer fits your current life, even if it's no longer needed. This is not laziness. It is not self-sabotage. It is a deeply sincere nervous system designed for survival. Choice is born where you pause. So, where does change actually become possible? Not in forcing decisions, not in being more positive. It appears here in a brief pause, a small space between reaction and reaction. When emotion rises, when thought begins to run, you don't obey it immediately. You don't judge it. You don't reject it. You simply notice, ah, this is an old wiring being replayed. That moment of noticing is the only place where autopilot returns to manual control. Life is not changed by big decisions. Many people believe life changes through major decisions. A career move, starting a business, a bold leap. But from the nervous system's view, it's different. Life is shaped by the accumulation of tiny, unnoticed reactions. How you interpreted something, what meaning you assigned, how you treated yourself in that moment. Each one quietly strengthens the next neural pathway. Life is not a single breakthrough. It is the continuous fine-tuning of wiring. Episode 3 Summary. Let's summarize today. Much of life is driven by reaction, not willpower. Those reactions are wired through past emotion and learning. This is not a flaw, but a survival-based design. Change begins not with effort, but with awareness. And what separates lives is not talent, not willpower. It is how often you notice your own reactions. That's all. Coming next. In the next episode, we go even deeper. If it's not talent, what truly creates divergence between lives? Why do people in similar environments end up on completely different trajectories? Neuroscience has the answer. If today's episode allowed your breathing to deepen even slightly, that is more than enough. Thank you for listening. In this space, we value depth over speed. So please, before you leave here, take a moment to settle your breathing. I'll see you in the next episode. This was Dr. Yoshi. Until next time. Change and rewire your brain. Change your life.